Good evening again. Let's go ahead and thanks for your patience online, if there's any participants online. Let's go ahead and get our City of North Plains City Council regular session meeting started. Today is Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023 at 7:03. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Lori, roll call. Thank you, Mayor. Mayor Linehan, here. Councilor Kendall.
Here.
Councilor Martinez is excused. She might try to pop on later. Councilor Papen, here. Councilor Sheldon.
Present.
Councilor Smith.
Here.
And Councilor Page is also excused. Thank you, Lori. Item 5 is our consent agenda. We are approving the January 3rd City Council regular session agenda, and we're also approving the December 19, 2022 City Council minutes. Are there any corrections or additions to the minutes that we need to be aware of?
Is today the 3rd?
Today is the 3rd.
Any correction on A should be 3, January's
Yep.
3rd.
Okay.
Okay.
Anything to the minutes? All right, hearing none, may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
I move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Right, we have a first, Councilor Papen, seconded by Councilor Kindle. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carried. Thank you. Item 6 is our public comment. This is the time that we encourage anyone from the public to speak on anything not on the agenda. Let the record show that there is no one from the public is seated here at Jesse Mays. Lori, did you receive anything online or via email?
Nothing prior to the meeting.
All right. And let the record show there's no additional public on Zoom. Thank you. All right. Tonight we have resolution number 2214, the library building dedication deed. So hopefully everyone had a chance to read the memo. Robin, are you going to jump on and guide us through this? She exited stage left.
Turned on her video and.
I think so. Andy, do you want to?
Sure, yeah, I'm happy to.
Take it, okay.
Pretty straightforward, and I was going to compliment Robin on putting together a nice background on the issue. I think she laid out the history and the situation here pretty well in 500 words or less, but essentially when the Friends of the Library formed nearly 20 years ago, they operated first here in the closet in Jesse Mays, and then they fundraised for a new building, and which they partnered with a local benefactor, Wayne Home, to construct the library. And as part of that, there was an arrangement where the Friends of the North Plains Library maintained the ownership of the building, and then the city had an MOU with them to operate the building as a public library. We joined WCCLS, that gave the city some more funding for a library director position, and really that's been the arrangement ever since. I think they have a few new members on the Friends board, and this is something they've been discussing for a number of years now, transferring ownership of the library building to the city. The city has always operated it, maintained it, paid the insurance for it, we staffed it, so the fiscal impact really would be nil. This is simply a dedication deed to make the property owned by the city of North Plains, and then we have complete control and ownership over it. So I hope that summarized things well enough. And Robin, if you heard the last of that, if you heard any inaccuracies, let me know.
Sounds great. Thank you.
I want to also I know that I spoke with two of the Friends members, Carolyn Levitt and David Hatcher last week. Just wanted to check in with them to kind of confirm what was provided to us in our packet. And they both basically said the same thing. It was just that they are wanted to retire and wanted to, it was time. They got the blessing of Mr. Holm, and the entire board felt very positive about turning this over to the city. So it gave me a peace of mind knowing where they had come from and how, over the years, over the last, 16 years that I'm aware of. And so I felt really comfortable with hearing it from the two board members personally. So I don't know if anyone else has anything else to share or any questions for Robin and or Andy. If not,
One very random question. When we apply for a bond as a city, does adding this asset help our rating or worthiness at all? Just out of curiosity.
Council Pavin, the answer to that is it doesn't really affect our ability. It doesn't affect our bond rating, or really what affects bond rating are whether or not our general fund reserves are maintained and growing annually. That's priority number one for high bond rating. So it affects. I mean, it'll be another thing. Keep on insurance and that sort of thing, but as far as bonding and all that now.
Okay, thank you.
Any other question or comment? If not, what's the will of council?
I'll move to adopt resolution number 2214, authorizing acceptance of the deed concerning the North Plains Library building improvements.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a first by Councilor Sheldon, seconded by Councilor Smith. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say nay. Hearing none, motion carried. All right. 8 is new business, nothing to report, and unfinished business. Nothing on our agenda for either one of those items. The next then would be the city manager report. 10A. Andy, anything you want to highlight or comment about?
Well, I wrote this last week on vacation, so kind of did my best to put things together. And I will just say, I'm glad we streamlined our goals last year, but by doing so, it actually made it harder to write something like this because we just have so many more objectives and kind of benchmarks and key performance indicators, and we have all that stuff. But I had to summarize that in kind of something that looked a little prettier for public consumption there. But bottom line is, I think we've done a lot. And we've only been doing a lot in the last few years, and we'll have a lot more to go next year. But I want to say I'm pleased that the council got back together and we did another goal setting session. And I think it'd be worth talking again about what maybe we want that to look like in 2023, and just sort of a review. But I think some of the work that we did back then and some of that I tried to kind of put into this report is, I think some of the things that we're trying to do related to sustainable budgeting, or like Bill just talked about, building up, reserves for the future. I think those are really great goals and good for the legacy, really of this body and everyone here. I think that's great for North Plains. But then there's a lot of the other small things too we want to do, building more sidewalks and expanding library services and doing more things in each of our departments. If we could do 24/7 police coverage, those are great legacies too. So nothing really to highlight, except to say, yeah, we got that community survey open for another week or so. We wanted to get through the newsletter period, and then we'll kind of summarize all those highlights for the council in early February. And then Corinne's working again on another sort of a year in numbers sort of visual to send up to the community to kind of different, kind of different indicators and things like that. So that'll be coming in the next month too. And Taco Bell opened last week, as you all know too. So
I think we've heard about it on Facebook.
We've heard about it.
it's in traffic.
Any comments or questions for Andy regarding his report?
The only question that I have is, there's a statement in the third paragraph on the first page in the review. And I even asked the mayor about this today, because I don't know that we discussed this. And that's the second sentence when it comes down to, we studied our system development charges, which we did, and our transportation utility fee, which we did. But I don't remember discussing any more than possibly doing a rate study on our water rates. We didn't actually determine anything from my recollection, and I missed a meeting in August, so that's probably about the time that might have been discussed, but I don't recall having anything from a data point on, what that looks like. And I know maybe this is for the future, but I did want that clarified.
No, thanks. Great point. And the mayor did bring that up to me today. So I think it's a nuance there, but we started studying it at the end of the year, and we have a rate consultant engaged, and actually we'll have the preliminary sort of findings in early February about of the rate study thus far.
And I figured that might be the case, but that we'd actually seen.
Council has not made any, hasn't seen anything, but we started studying that in November. So, yep.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up, Councilor Shelley. Councilor Smith?
Yes. Since we're doing this beautiful new public work building, we still got that burn that looks really bad. I know that when they put it in, I went over there and looked at it. They do have a sprinkling system in. I don't think it ever got turned on. It looks like we got probably a couple $1,000s worth of plants that are dead. I just wondered, is there any ideas of fixing that up? Or whatever happened with the dead trees? And is there an automatic watering system that turns on it?
I don't know the full details of that. I would say I think the plantings, well, for one thing, they're supposed to be established before the maintenance period is over with the contractor. So the plantings there and the ground cover, which is clover, a lot of that's meant to be low maintenance, and I don't think it was meant to be, constantly irrigated. So it might have just been a temporary thing, but honestly, I'll have to do some follow-up for you. I don't know that. I have to look at the as-built and look at all those details, but I don't know. But as part of the public works building, yeah, we can probably pretty that up a little bit if we need to.
Well, yeah, like I said, they're dead plants. I'm not sure how much it was that put them in, but I'm thinking it's a couple $1,000s. And we might not want to water it a lot, but we need to water enough to make sure they don't die. So.
Okay, yeah, I can look into that.
With the recent storm and the wind and all of that sort of thing, I don't know if you had many folks in town call or communicate with you, the staff, Public Works, just about, down trees or, things like that. I have seen in a couple areas, just the, trees, limbs, branches and things like that that are in the right of way. And I wasn't sure if that's something that we're addressing or if the homeowner has to address. I was curious more for my own knowledge, not to put it, a task on your to-do list. I just wondered if you could provide some feedback on that.
Well, I know that our three guys in Public Works, one's been out on vacation, were pretty busy last week and today, taking care of trees and tree limbs when they could. And, putting out signage for roads that had water going over them, which people would probably take and throw into the water. So they had a lot of dealing with that. And people just throwing signs on the way and we had to go repair them and bring them back. So I know they're trying to work their way around different areas. As far as maintaining trees, in the right of way, it's like with anything in the right of way, it's case specific sometimes. So I'd have to see it to actually.
Well, for example, on Main, the trees are on private property, but the wind and, the branches and things like that are now on the sidewalk and in the street, so they're in the right of way.
Mhm.
So I'm just wondering, is that something that we need to be addressing?
That's something we can take care of.
Okay, and I've seen that along Main Street there,
On Main Street,
for one,
are there
yeah.
any other, if there's any other areas, just let me know.
Okay,
I'll follow up.
yeah. I was just curious about that, whose responsibility would that be? I figured it was ours, but I wasn't. Again, I know that you all have enough to do on your to-do list, and I'm sure your guys know it's there, but I was just wondering for my own knowledge.
No, it's great. I mean, if a tree limb falls on someone's sidewalk and they take care of that, we certainly appreciate it. But
Sure.
if it's not taken care of, we'll, I definitely want to go around town and do
Yeah.
that. So
And
Main Street for sure.
Yeah, and I noticed the 2 railroad signs were down.
Yeah.
On 311th and like.
Well, there's one, a big one there. Yeah, so that fell down. That's the company, the railroad company's
Okay.
responsibility. So we put up temporary signs and let them know. Could take them months to repair.
Okay,
So we'll see. I don't know. We'll have to put up.
I wasn't sure if that was from the
Signs
weather
Should be
or if
railroad.
somebody actually.
Yeah. It's temporary for now because the main sign there, flew over. That's what I heard. I noticed it too when I came.
Yeah.
Today too.
I saw two railroad tracks down, so. Thanks. Any other questions for Andy? Any council reports? Yes,
This is not a council report, but last year we did this in December and we haven't done it yet. Are we going to vote for the city council or president?
Yeah. we'll go.
yeah. We can do that at the next meeting.
Want to do it at the next meeting, and you could add it to, if you want tonight, I don't know where.
Or we could add it to now, if you wanted to.
If you want to.
Yes.
Before we go into the executive session.
Before? Okay, all right. Well, do we, thank you for bringing that to our attention, Counselor Smith, good job, I appreciate that. Hi, do you have a nomination?
My first question is, Russ has done it for a while. Does anybody else want to do it, or does keep committing and give it to Russ? He doesn't mind.
Well, I have to earn it. No, nothing to give it.
Oh, I know, but I'm just saying, does anybody else want to do that job?
I'm seeing a couple of folks here shake their head no.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Well, we could wait.
We can, if you want to wait until we have a
do
full
two-
council,
Two members missing, two
Yeah,
councilors
I think
missing,
that's.
let's do that.
so we'll push it to the next. Hey, I won't be at the next meeting, so Andy, I'll get it on the agenda right now, so that you'll remember it.
Okay, thank you. All right. Yeah, appreciate that. The council calendar, again, I think we're all really good about attending the meetings, and then if you do need to flip something around, I think we're all really good about asking ahead of time. So that still stands. And council committee appointments, do we need to make any changes there? Councilor Papen?
If anyone would be interested in the coordinating committee, I have a recurring meeting that happens every Monday from 12 to 1, and I don't think it's fair to you to not be able to be available as an alternate.
So Lori, do you think that's something else that we can put on the agenda maybe for the next meeting in case Counselor Page or Counselor Martinez might have
Just that we need an alternate.
an alternate for the WCCC?
Okay,
Are you still okay with the CDBG? You're fine with that? And then Counselor Kendall,
Mhm.
you're still okay with being an alternate? And then for Mac, Counselor Sheldon and Counselor Smith,
Yeah.
you're still there? Yeah. Okay. And then Bill Reed, you're on the MCAT?
I am the alternate, yes.
Okay. All right, so just the WCCC then, alternate, see if Counselor, the other two counselors are open, that would be great. Thank you, Lori. All right, well, I think so far that kind of concludes this portion of the agenda. So now we do need to go into executive session, and Lori, I'll turn this over to you.
thank you, Mayor. The city council will now meet in executive session under ORS 192.660 parentheses 2 parentheses G, trade negotiations. Only news media representatives and staff designated by city council are permitted to attend the executive session. News media representatives, staff, and council members are respectfully directed not to report on any of the discussions that occurred during the session, except to state the general subject as previously announced. The council will return to regular session if there is a need for action on the executive session item. No final action or decision may be taken in executive session. Any materials distributed will be collected by the city recorder at the end.
Thank you, Lori.